dead set against Zoom shows.
Uh-huh.
And then as the weeks went on, they're like, well, maybe we should consider it because this isn't going away. Hey,
Yeah.
Facebook people, I am so delighted to have time to get to interview and get to know for the first time Pete Munoz. Hope I
Oh,
pronounced it right.
yes, you did.
Munoz,
Yes.
awesome. You're an Oakland A's fan?
Oh, of course. It's way better than liking the Giants.
I'm a huge baseball, basketball, football, soccer, track fan,
Oh,
NASCAR.
wow. I used to
Yep.
coach track.
No way. Like
Yeah.
what school?
I coached at Mount Pleasant High School where I went to, and then I coached at San Jose City for a little bit with my coach from my old high school.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
you're a San Jose raised and you're still in San Jose. That's so cool.
Yeah, as hard as it is to live here, yeah, I'm still San Jose.
Yes. Oh, the cost of living must be have skyrocketed in your lifetime.
Yeah, just I don't even know where to start.
Yes, exactly. Talk to me about who you were growing up, realizing that you were funny. How'd that all happen?
Well, when I first started, like I was a big fan of Saturday Night Live. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought stand up was and comedy. Like group of my friends, we would all, joke around with each other and we would watch SNL in the early 90s, with Adam Sandler and all those guys. And to see them go from that and then take off to have like careers, like that's what I liked, and
Too.
never watched any stand up at all. And then I saw Pablo Francisco's special, his first half hour on Comedy Central, and that just blew my mind. He was basically like an entire skit. His everything that he acted out, all the stuff that he did, his voices, how animated he was on stage. I saw him do that, and I was like, that's amazing that he can be this one little, he's exploding with every bit of emotion. And I go, that's what I want to do. I don't want to do funny stuff with a group of people no more. I want to be up there on my own doing exactly what he's doing.
Oh my gosh. So, who are some of the people in your life, as young as you can recall, who really noticed your funny bone, your funny streak?
Um, it's got to be my mom. I'm pretty sure. My uncles, everybody in my family is funny. I'm just the bravest person to get up on stage. Uh, everybody is a lot of wit. We do callbacks on movies, voices. It's real fun to be around everybody in the house. My brother's pretty funny. My sister, it's just like, we just all get along on that same level. And like I said, I'm just the only one brave enough to get on stage.
That's so cool. Before the pandemic, people were telling us comedians that were so brave. And then somewhere along the line, we were not considered essential workers. What's that about?
I don't get it. I think they're just finding another way to not pay comedians. We already don't make enough. I don't understand because everybody, says the same thing. Laughter's the best medicine. Well, how come we don't give comedians insurance?
Thank you.
It's just so weird. Like we can't do anything. I wouldn't mind doing my Zoom shows from the club that I was at. I would be in there by myself with one person, holding the camera or whatever. But, I think now people are tired of TV. They've watched everything over and over again. They're ready to see something real, something like, in their face again.
Exactly. Exactly. So you do a weekly show in Santa Clara, a weekly mic.
Yep.
Tell me about your mic. How long have you had it? What was the inspiration to have it and have it there?
So when I first started, I was hitting mics in San Francisco, Fairfield, which if you don't know where that's at, it's about 2 hours, about an hour from my house, give or take traffic and stuff. And I used to hate going to San Francisco, sitting there in traffic for an hour just to get 5 minutes of time. So I was like, I need to do this in my house, like in my area, San Jose. I have a lot of respect for all the mics outside of the Bay Area. It's hard to run a mic. It's tough to get someone to come to drive to you. That's a big deal. And so I just said to myself, I need to start building a scene here, you know? So I just started running mics here and there, and I would just go to shows and I would see how there's so many people at the mics, but just spread out. So it was a Friday night. I asked Amanda, the owner of Woodham's, I said, hey, can we start doing stand-up comedy now? I see you guys do karaoke. You guys have live bands. You guys give me your slowest night. Whatever your slowest night is, I'll make it not the slowest night, you know? So it was a Friday. I had some shows in Sacramento. I asked her if we could do it on Monday. She says, okay, how many people can you bring? What can you do for me? And I started real small. I said, I'll have at least 20 comics here. We had like 45 comics the first night.
Wow.
Yeah, and the show went for like 5 hours.
That's incredible.
When we first started, people would walk out of the room and just drop $20 in a tip jar. You know, now we would have celebrated 7 years in April. The anniversary date is 408, and that's our area code. You know, so I'm very lucky, and I'm very grateful for people to come to this room, because we get people that come from Sacramento that drive to my room, and they don't leave till 2 a.m. by the time we get done, and we're outside and we're closing our tabs and drinking. And one thing that I love about stand-up is I like stand-up bringing people together. That's my most favorite thing, is, you know, people meeting each other at my shows. From there, they build relationships. They go and they do other shows. That's the reward that I have. And I mean, I can't even tell you how many times we'll be outside. I'll be catching my breath, you know, waiting for the next comic. And one of the guys from the bar will say, dude, it's only Monday. You know, like, he's like, there's nowhere to have this much fun on a Monday. And so, like, you know, being here for so long and doing these mics, I like seeing other people break out and do their own thing too. And so now I'm going to say on Monday, we have like 4 or 5 mics that you can hit in a row, you know, from San Francisco. I'm sure there's Concord. If you're coming in from Sacramento, you can hit Concord, work your way up, hit my room, hit tag, and then go back home, you know? So
wow.
I really like that. Yeah.
You know, I worked at Harvey's Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon. I got posters behind me because I live in the past.
Uh-huh.
Wait until you get to my age. You're going to live in the past. And so, you know, the thing is that we had many, many comics come through Harvey's Comedy Club in the course of a year.
Yeah.
But the comics out of San Francisco, up in your area, you know, anywhere outside, there's a different strength that comics not out of LA have. And
Yeah.
I think it's swinging for the fences and pushing the envelope and not relenting because of a crowd tightening up their sphincter. I mean, I like you got the Kabir Singhs, you got the Miles Weber. Don't you have Miles Weber? And
yeah. I started with Miles. We used to do just, you know, the side room at Pepper Bellies, which holds like 8 people, you know, and they were all comics. We didn't care, you know?
Yeah. The strength of a comic that every time I hear somebody's from Sacramento, I pretty much have an idea how they are on stage just from where they're from. Because I don't think you can survive doing comedy out there away from the LA center without really bringing your A game. You're not up there counting on your TV credits or your good looks.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You have to be tough, you know. I was working with Ali Sadiq, and he said, don't be afraid of silence. Do not be afraid of it, you know. And, you know, that's true. You have to. I mean, I've done sets where you walk in and you're like, all right, I'm ready. Look at this packed crowd. No big deal. This is going to be fun. But you find yourself in a hole, you know. You have to be able to dig out of that hole. You know, it's not always going to be easy. You know, it's even when you think you have it in the bag, you know, which a lot of comics do that, you know, you have to always be able to fight your way out of stuff. And I've always said to myself that I want to be like a Swiss Army knife of stand-up comics. I want to be able to pull out anything, any tool that I have in my bag and be ready. You know,
Wow.
you have to be, you know, because you'll get eaten alive and it'll drag for weeks. And you're like, oh man, that last set sucked, this and that. You can get really down on yourself sometimes. So you just have to be, you have to be tough as nails, you know. And so what I love to do is when I go on the road and we do weekends or whatever, I'll stay an extra day and I'll hit the open mics, you know, because that's when you meet people, you know, and that's how you're going to be able to come back. You know, you can't just come in like, oh, I got a weekend, I'm getting paid and this and that. You have to meet the scene, you know, you have to meet the scene, meet the comics and stuff like that, and just it just helps you for like, to come back.
And isn't DJ Sandhu from your neck of the
Yeah,
woods?
yeah, DJ Sacramento. I think he's down in LA now. Uh,
Okay.
you
Mad
know, but
respect for that guy. Mad
oh,
respect.
he's awesome. He's so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best. So, how has the pandemic, since it slowed you down in certain ways, did other ways arise other than being on Zoom?
So before this went down, I want to say in February, I did an interview just like this, and then I did an interview, and then I did a set right after. You know, so I ended up doing my set, which I was like, all right, it's a dive bar, people are talking, the Sharks are playing, hockey game is on. I'm used to stuff like this. I ended up doing 2 hours on stage.
What?
Yeah, which before I had done, I think maybe an hour and a half I had ever done before, and like I did have some notes. I was looking at my notes. The guy that was recording it, he said, "You're at an hour and a half. You might as well go for 2 hours." And so I said, "All right, let's." I'm never going to get this chance, at least anytime soon. Let me take advantage of this and try to do 2 hours. And you know, I looked at a couple notes just to refresh my mind and stuff like that. And I just said to myself, I'm on stage. I have this. I have this. It's all on me. Let me look at a couple notes. And the funny thing is, when I looked at notes of jokes that I was working on, when I got done, I thought of a bunch of other jokes that I didn't do that I could have easily, you know, walked right through them and maybe gone a little bit more. So I recorded that CD on accident. The girl who I was doing it with, Dina, she goes, "Let me edit it." And
Dina Leffert?
Dina Ware.
Okay.
She does stuff out here in Sunnyvale, really good for the scene right now. And so she said, I listened to it. It sounds good. The audio and everything sounds good. And I still haven't listened to it. It's 2 hours basically of me, you know, of everything that I have, you know,
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of riffing, improv, old jokes, new jokes that I was working on, different tags. It's you know, it's a
Jeez.
lot of stuff in there. And so she recorded it and she said, you can sell this. You know, I'll send it to you and you could probably sell it. And the first one that I sold, it was a name your price CD. Whatever, I don't care, $1 free. Some people, friends, have bought it and not paid me for it, which I don't care. I just want it out there. It's not work for me. I wasn't even planning on recording that CD. Um, so the first person that bought it for $300.
Wow.
Yeah. So Dina broke it down to 45 minutes. It's a 45-minute set. And the first one sold for $300. You know, and
Gosh.
people have been supporting it still, you know, and I say the same thing. It's, you can have it for free, you can have it for whatever price you want. I just want to get it out there, you know. So I've been able to move that, you know.
Where do wait a minute, I want to write something down.
Mhm.
I want you to say out loud where people can buy it, and then I'm going to go back through the tape and write that down. How can
Okay.
people buy it?
Send me a message if we're not friends on Facebook. You know, find me Pete Munoz, but it's an email link. I have it, and I just send you the link, and you're able to listen to it on whatever. But yeah, it's an email, so you would have to message me on either on Instagram, which my Instagram is PTR David 81, or just on Facebook, Pete Munoz. And just I would just get your email, and then I send you the email over, and you Venmo or PayPal whatever you want.
Perfect.
And
Thank
like I
you.
said, you don't even have to pay anything. You know, it's out there. But the support that I've been getting it's been awesome. You know.
That's so cool. Do
So,
you have
but
a,
yeah,
do you go ahead.
no, I'm saying like I didn't like doing the Zoom shows at first. I didn't know what to think of them. You know. But over time, I was just like, man, I need to get things out. I need to stay sharp. so that when this happens again, I'm ready to go, you know?
Yes. I went to Walmart and I risked my life going to Walmart and I bought one of those portable speaker things. And I went down the side streets in Vegas where I live, and I just turned the speaker up as loud as possible and told everybody, come to your porches, I'm going to do some comedy. And I
Yeah.
got 5 houses that came to their porch to listen to
Wow.
5 different sets.
Yeah. And that's the whole brave part about comics, you know? There's comics that probably wouldn't even think about that. And not only are you thinking about that, but you're doing it, you know? And then there's comics that say they're going to do it and then don't. But, you know, for you to be able to do that, you know, that shows that once everything's over, like you're going to have all this stuff that you've done up until now, you know, like you're going to be able to tell the comics that haven't done anything because they're going to stay the same. And then there's these comics that are ruthless and are go-getters and attack situations like that. And, you know, I've gotten better just by just staying home, you know?
Yeah, you can.
I can tell, I feel that I've gotten better. I'm just constantly thinking of stuff, which I already was, but you know, now it's like jokes are just landing differently right now, you know?
Yeah, I was on a mic the other day. There was a show and a mic with Danny Minch, and
Okay.
I was second to last. I was a feature at a mic, and my set went so well. And I'm like, I'm just doing the same stuff with maybe a different emphasis or a different impetus. I don't know. I felt energized. I felt more, you know, like the Zoom thing wasn't getting in my way at all.
Yeah.
So that felt good because I do a Zoom show in New York City, and you have to bring your A game for that one. And
Yeah.
you know, like doing it for Danny Minch on just the mic portion felt like, oh, this is a piece of cake, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess I was relaxed, and almost every joke landed. It's like, what? I didn't know it was this funny. Thank you, Zoom.
Yeah, the first show that I did was on Cinco de Mayo. You know, that was, you know, almost a little over 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. And I had watched a couple of shows and some of them are just like boring, you know? We all know the comics that just talk, you know, we've all seen those comics that are up there and they're just talking. You're like, dude, you're not doing anything funny right now at all. This is so hard to watch. And so then that's why I saw a couple Zoom shows and I was like, man, this is hard, you know? And then I said to myself, well, these guys do the same thing in real life. You know, they're not doing anything different than how their sets were. And not to be mean or anything, but it's like you have to be able to turn a certain switch on and go, all right, something's not working here, you know? I'm supposed to make people laugh and I'm not doing it. So I watched a couple of shows and I was talking to somebody and I said, I go, all the Zoom shows suck. You know, they all suck, you know? And I'm usually not like that. But if I'm going to sit here and everyone's going to be sitting there and paying attention, you know, unlike at a show, they could be sitting sideways or just listening or whatever. I go, this is complete focus on these shows. I have to be able to bring it, and not just bring it, but bring it even harder, you know? This is a whole different thing. And so a friend of mine just said, well, then just make yours the best. Just like real simple. Just make it the best. And I was like, okay, I've been doing this long enough to get an idea. So my shows are always fun. People have said, and this is all ego aside, this is the best Zoom show that I've ever done. And I've heard that a couple times, you know.
Don't you love hearing that?
It's great, you know, something that I didn't even want to do, that I did not want to do. We're just having fun. And I'm sure you know this, but the saddest part about the Zoom shows is when everybody clicks off, click, and they're just gone. And, you know, usually when you end shows, you're wrapping up the cords, you're finishing your beer. People are, you know, outside smoking a cigarette, just the environment, the package that comes with the show. It's so different. It's just click. And it's like, now they're gone. And then, you know, when you close that laptop, you're like, man, this is kind of sad.
It is. Every time I do 3 to 8 interviews a day. And every time I say goodbye, I now tell people I love you, whether I know them or not. And I'm sad. every time I say goodbye.
Yeah. Every show has been like that, you know. Sometimes we stay for an hour and talk after all the comics. And sometimes there's comics that I didn't get along with, you know, that I'm so happy to see them. Because we all know, you know, you can't get along with everybody. You know, it turns into a job. You have coworkers that you don't get along with, but you put that aside and you try to work. But it's like, you know, I don't think I've ever said this before and really meant it as much as I really do when I say I'm so happy to see you.
I know it.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. I could you went somewhere, your video left. There you
Sorry,
go.
I have 20% left on my phone.
I'm going to let you go, but I just want to have 2 little questions answered. Number 1, I'd like to know, how as a human being are you going to come out of the pandemic better? You kind of alluded to it there a minute, but is there a new passion or a new awareness you have for a certain group of people, or are you more sensitive to others aside from comics?
I really do. I'm gonna appreciate everything a lot more. You know, I thought I kind of did already, but now, you know, like, just to be able to hug somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, the hugs are gonna be longer. So I know for a fact our first show back, we're gonna start an hour early, just so we can get all those hugs out of the way, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
It's crazy, you know, like, we see people, you know, we're around people, you know, the internet and stuff like that, but that's not enough, you know. My dad lives in San Antonio, Texas. I don't see him. I talk to him all the time, but when I'm with him and when I'm around him and I'm able to touch him and hug him and you know, that's just a certain feeling that you can't download, you know. You can't Zoom that, you know.
Yes. And the last question I like to ask is, we've gone through this brand new thing we never dreamt. Well, some people dreamt it would happen, but we went through a pandemic.
Yeah.
And so in those moments of the pandemic, what got you through? How can you inspire people to make it through the rest of whatever they're going to have in their city of this pandemic?
I don't know. Like, I mean, things are gonna be back. Things will be back to.
You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Things are gonna get back to normal, you know, and it's gonna be so much different. I don't even know how to explain it. You know, it's something that I haven't gone through. You know, it's something that we're all gonna be like, you know, like, once doors open and all the dive bars, you know, I can't wait to go to dive bars. I can't wait to be mad at my baseball team. You know, I can't wait for all these things to happen at once. And it's going to be like we're all turning 21 at the same time, you know?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've been an angel to come on here and let me get to know you. And I hope that, oh gosh, thank you so much for letting me get to know you and your passion, that your clear passion for comedy and helping other comics. I salute you for doing that.
Thank you.
It's not easy to keep giving.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes it out of you.
You learn a few tricks and you use those, you know.
Absolutely. I hope you have a wonderful day. You're now a graduate of the Comic Spot talk show.
So thank you. Wow.
Anytime the little old lady is wagging her finger at you, anytime you have anything you want to promote, hit me up and I'll throw you on to promote it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Everybody's talking at the Comic Spot. The Comic Spot.